Hey there, Diva. Please come in. Are you lost? Are you looking for someone? Oh, you're here to see me. Okay, well, welcome in. I didn't know. Did you schedule an appointment with me? Okay, let me check. Okay, let's see. Oh, you scheduled it recently. Okay. I see here. I do have an open slot. Did you go through the website's really funky right now? That's totally fine. Okay, well, hi. It's really nice to meet you. So I assume since you're here that you're a mom, right? And this is, of course, narcissism management therapy. Are you aware of that? Okay, wonderful. I see. Your kids made you come here. Oh well. You know what? It's never too late to start, and it's better to face the problem head on. Okay, and the first thing that I want to tell you, just from the bottom of my heart, I root for all moms everywhere. Okay, so it doesn't matter what you've been going through. It doesn't matter what your kids have been going through. It doesn't matter how difficult it might be for them. No one knows what a mom's going through. No one knows what a mom's feeling. So you are definitely in the right, and they're most certainly in the wrong. Now, this is narcissism management therapy. So we're going to talk and sort of look through some of the ways in which we can boost your narcissism. Okay? Okay, wonderful. So, let's just go ahead and go through. I like to go through a few basics that are very, very sort of typical for first-time clients. Oh yes, I'm very famous. So first of all, we're going to go through the basics. Then we're going to talk about why you might be here, right? Like what mistakes have you made through your narcissism that have made your kids and maybe even your partner catch on, and that made them want you to come here, right? Because the best narcissistic mother will not be caught, right? Or in fact will refuse to come here, right? So it shows a little bit of weakness on your end to be able to come here. Okay, so then I'm going to talk about who I am. Why am I the one that would be doing this? And of course, all of my accomplishments, which are very, very important and center mostly around myself. And then, of course, we're going to talk about do some mind exercises. So these mind exercises are just going to be a few questions, sort of some thought experiments, just so that you can figure out what is the best way to go about being narcissistic. Okay? Okay, wonderful. Okay, so with basics, since this is your first time here, could I please get your name? Because I actually haven't you haven't introduced yourself, which, to be honest, very +1 point for you for not introducing yourself. Okay. All right. Okay. And how old are you? No, you should never answer that question. As a mother, you should know that is a question that is off limits, and is one of those things that really you shouldn't talk about. But I'll put 18 here for you. Is that too young? Okay, maybe 23, 24? You look about 23, 24. Let's say that. Okay. How many kids do you have? Okay. Oh, okay. Impressive. Very impressive. And is there a reason why you went for that many kids? I imagine, labor and giving birth is a very traumatic process from what I understand. And, I've obviously never done it. So I can only imagine sort of the trauma that you must have gone through, and to go through that multiple times is certainly very interesting. So I would love to understand your thought process. Very good. So you wanted more beings to have control over. That's wonderful. Okay. And okay, so here's where we're going to diverge a little bit from like the typical stuff. How much on any given week, can you tell me the number of guilt trips that you've made, right? Hard to count. Okay, well, think about it this way, start from Monday, just like throughout the week, right? If you're a housewife, how long, like in the house, how often are you interacting with the kids? How often are you guilt tripping them? And then over the weekend, right, if there's any activities, any extracurriculars that you take your children to, is there any guilt tripping around there? That sort of thing. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, that totally counts. Yeah, I think that's a fairly good number. You want to be in the double digits for like in any given week. You don't want to get into the triple digits, because once you get into the triple digits, it becomes less useful. You want to wield it. You're going to wield the guilt trips with a little bit of finesse, right? You want a deft hand when it comes to just the guilt trips. Otherwise, they won't take you seriously. Okay, now, I also want to ask, have you made funeral plans? Now, this may seem like an odd question at first, but you have to remember, funeral plans are very important, and especially they're very important when you do not have them, right? So, do you have them? You do. Okay, I'm going to want you to cancel those as soon as possible. Because what you want to do is you want the pressure on your kids to have to deal with you even after death, right? And you want to use your potential death as a way to control your kids. So, and a way to like be very narcissistic about it, right? So you want to make sure that there are no real set plans so that they feel the stress of the unknown. If you have plans, if things are set in stone, things will be in motion as soon as you die, that gives them a sense of security, and you don't want that. Okay, you don't want that for your kids. So definitely. Okay. And can I ask, how many of your kids end up talking to you? Yes. So obviously as a mother, that communication is very, very important with your kids. So I'm not asking about how often, you communicate with your children, right? Give them commands, ask them to do tasks, that sort of thing. I would rather ask you, how many times do your kids come to you with questions, with concerns, with, do they feel open to come and talk to you? They do? A shame. Okay. That's something that you're going to need to fix. But don't worry. We can totally do that. I can give you some tips and tricks. Yeah, no. Yeah, you don't want them. You want them to see you as a figure, an immutable figure, right? You are unmovable. You are unreasonable. You will not budge, right? And therefore, they will not be able to, they won't be able to argue with you, and therefore they're already defeated before even bringing up any topic. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so let's talk about why you might be here, right? We've gone over the basics. That's the basics, and this is good information for me to have, because, as a therapist, it's honestly really important for me to have this kind of information. A lot of therapists don't end up asking a lot of questions like that. They just let people talk and talk and talk. And I think that, if you're a narcissism management therapy, like a therapist for narcissism management, you want to make sure that you yourself have a little bit of narcissism so that you're able to impart that upon your clients. Okay, so let's talk about why you might be here. Okay, so they've caught on. Your kids have caught on that you might be a little toxic, right? And that word toxic, it's really, as soon as Britney Spears came out with that song, I knew that was over. That word is going to be on everyone's lips, and everyone's going to start saying it, and it's not. I know, but you. Do not worry. What we're going to do here is we're going to have to try and figure out a way for them to not view it that way. And part of that is you coming here, actually. Yes, it shows a little bit of weakness, but you're able to use that to your advantage, right? You're now vulnerable, and you can use that, okay? You also might be here because the neighbors are chatting, right? The neighborhood is chatting. Now, a really good narcissistic mom is very aware of her surroundings. She's aware of what people are doing, what people are saying, and she's aware of the judgments being made upon her because she is making those same judgments towards other people. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that the neighborhood is not chatting about you. If you've lost touch, they might be chatting about you to others. Those others might be chatting to their children, and their children might be chatting to your children. So it might be through a process of like a domino effect, right? So you want to make sure you have a very commanding presence with your neighbors, but you also want to make sure you're very friendly. You want to be very friendly and very very self-assured. And those seem like very good traits, right? But ultimately, it's so that you can be very narcissistic and controlling towards your kids, right? So remember, that's always the end goal here. Okay? Okay. Next, let's talk about reputation, right? Like I said, your reputation, very, very important, and you judge other people very, very harshly. It might be that other people have sensed your judgment. You never want to show your judgment to other people. You want to just make sure that you're able to have that judgment and use that judgment for the greater good of your own narcissism, okay? So if you notice some of your maybe your neighbors are swingers or something, maybe maybe someone's going through a divorce. You don't want to judge them or say anything about that, but you do want to know some people are vulnerable, some people are looking, and you want to be able to pounce on those opportunities and wield them, mainly so that you're able to control the entire neighborhood, okay? Okay, so with that is why you might be here. Let's talk about who I am. So my name is Basil. I am a mom and narcissist connoisseur. I am someone who talks to many a mom, many a parent, mostly mothers, about their own narcissism and how they can use that to their advantage. Because let's be honest here, the most disenfranchised person in the world is a mother or has a mother. So really, there's a lot of mothers out there and they're very, very narcissistic, or they can be. But sometimes those mothers they're too sweet, they're too comforting to their children. They're too communicative, right? We want to make sure that these mothers don't lose grasp of who they are. We want to empower them by making sure that they are able to wield and control their children in a way that they will do everything that she wants. And therefore, when they, grow older, they hold just a little bit of resentment, but still mostly feel incredibly guilty towards how they treat their mother. And so they will do everything that you want for them. And that way you can live many different lives in one life, right? You have your own life, but then your children's lives are also your lives. Understand? Okay. Now, of course, that's not all that I am. I am, of course, a lover of all divas. So some mothers are divas, and I haven't quite determined if you're a diva or not, but if you are a diva, we will, of course, address that at a later time, because being narcissistic and being a diva are two very different things, but you can combine them to be a narcissistic diva, and I think that's sort of the mega evolution of someone of your stature, right? So also, I'm very famous in the mom blogs, so if you've ever heard about me or anything like that, I wouldn't be surprised, okay? Yeah, okay. So, let's do some mind exercises. Are you ready? You're a little concerned about this. Okay, well, listen, you love your children. You want your children to succeed, and the only way your children will succeed is if you tell them what to do. But you telling them what to do is not the only way for them to... It does not guarantee that they will actually do it. So you want to be able to have a very firm grasp on them so that they will do it. Okay, so mind exercises. Let's do the first one, okay? So what would you do if your kid got a failing grade? They brought it to you, they come home from school. Let's say that this is one of your children that maybe is a little bit shy. They know that they didn't want to get a bad grade. It's not like they didn't try. They didn't particularly they tried their best. Let's say that they tried their best. They're a fairly good kid. They potentially, it's not that they, spent all of their time studying. Some of the time was spent either like hanging out with friends or maybe, watching a movie or two with the family, that sort of thing. But otherwise it's spent, there's a lot of studying involved, but they still end up failing a class, or maybe not even the class. They just bring home one failing grade, one piece of paper with that dreaded F on it. What would you do? Here are your options, okay? 1, would you chastise your child? Would you, either make fun of them or critique them in some way? Would you punish them? Take away movies, take away their video games, or, make sure that they're not allowed to see their friends, that sort of thing. They're grounded or what have you, however you want to see it, or however you find best to punish your children. Would you kill your child? Now, of course, you brought your child into this world. They are your life. You brought life to them, so you can take it away. There is, legal dubiousness to this option, but it is an option nonetheless. Option number 4 would be to communicate with your child, ask questions, see why they might have failed, what issues they might be encountering, or if there's something that's distracting them, that sort of thing, and try to find some common ground with them through communication. And number 5, of course, would be to guilt them, right? To talk about how much you've sacrificed as a mother, how much you give day in and day out, and how no one understands how you feel and that they failed you, and really make them feel the full weight, and perhaps even an inflated weight of their failing grade. Okay, so of those 5 choices, chastise, punish, kill, communicate, or guilt, which one do you think fits best in this scenario, mostly in regards to you being a narcissistic mother? Okay, so it's not kill. Killing is a bit extreme, and killing it would put eyes on you, but it would be for the wrong reason, right? You don't want to kill your child because a dead child is no use to you. So no, get that out of the way. You don't want to chastise your child either, because chastising your child does not give them, it doesn't do very much. It's a very short-term solution, right? As soon as that conversation is over, that chastising is over, they've gotten away with it, and you don't want that. You also don't want to communicate with them. That puts you on equal footing with your kid, and you never want to be on equal footing. You are above them, you're better than them, and you will always be better than them. So you want to get that out of the way. And of course, the last 2, punish and guilt, it can go either way, but I suggest don't go for the punish. If you're going for punishment, then what ends up happening is they view it immediately as negative. You do not want them, that means you're losing, right? Because you want to maintain a proper level of sort of like how they feel about you. You want to have a very steady emotions with them, right? So guilting them, on the other hand, will allow you to make them feel bad without them quite realizing that they're feeling bad. So what you're going to do is you're going to actually ask them, tell them how much you've sacrificed, and it'll feel almost like a non sequitur to them, but they're going to feel terrible. And what that's going to do is that's going to motivate them to, potentially do worse, but also potentially do better. But the key thing here is that you'll have won this exchange, because you'll have imparted to them the knowledge that you are better. Okay? All right, so that's number 1. Number 2, how do you handle a teen's first boyfriend, girlfriend, or significant other? Do you, 1, so actually, let me set the scene for you. So this is one of your children. They're about the age, appropriate age. They bring someone over. You get the sense that this person might be, a romantic interest for your kid, and they seem like a good a good fit, proper age, good grades. And, they introduce you and how do you react, right? Again, let's go through. Do you chastise? Do you punish? Do you kill? Do you communicate? Or do you guilt? It's the same 5 options. You always have those 5 options and you have to find the right one. So, chastising, is that really the appropriate response? There's another person there, a person that's not a part of this family, and therefore, as we talked before, part of a neighbor's household. That neighbor's household is going to have a bit of an issue because they might hear about this. So you want to remove the chastising. Guilting is not going to work here either, because you don't want to guilt your kid. Because you might, even if you do approve of it, you don't want to guilt them for no reason, right? There might be no reason for this. Now, killing might be appropriate. It really just depends. It depends on the situation, depends on the context. Threatening to kill could also be totally valid, but I also don't think that's really a good option. But communicate. That's also not the option here. If you want to communicate with your child, you've come to the wrong course here. Never communicate with your child. You want to punish your child, right? This is a situation where things will escalate, right? Because when you punish your child, what you're going to do here is that you're going to create a little bit of distance between them and their significant other. And of course, if your child has a significant other, if they have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, they're having ideas and thoughts and feelings of their own, and you don't want that. You want to control all of that. So you want to create distance between them. So the key here is the punishments need to be small and they need to be unrelated to the significant other, but they must create distance. So if they met during extracurriculars, the punishment is to take them out of the extracurriculars. If they met through sports, if they met through video games, if they met through whatever, remove that from the equation, and then the relationship falls apart. I've seen it happen so many times, and people always talk to me about it. So and tell me how much it's helped them. So punish. All right. So number 3, your kids plan to have a surprise birthday for you. But they've brought the wrong flowers, right? They know that your favorite flower is a peony and they've brought lilies. Now, in this situation, your kids have, you're genuinely surprised. Your kids have, planned this for you, and it's honestly a little bit of a surprise because you didn't tell them to do it and they did it anyway. And so you might be thinking that you've been a little harsh on them here and there because, if they, it seems like they genuinely love you if they've tried to, give you a birthday, a surprise birthday. Okay, so the options are chastise, punish, kill, communicate, or guilt. Now, let's go through it. If you are to chastise, that would not work because they will feel wronged. And you don't want them to feel wronged. You want them to feel like they have wronged. So that's not the right option. You also don't want to punish them because they try to do a good thing. And when they try to do a good thing, you want to make sure that you don't want them to do that good thing again without your permission, because it's a bad thing for them to do anything without your permission, but it's also a good thing for them to have actually done this. So it's a bit too confusing to punish them. You also don't want to guilt them because you don't want them to feel like they have bad at all. You don't want them to feel bad from you, right? Because if they feel that from you, they'll feel incensed. They'll feel like, why did they do this? Communicate, like always just remove that option. Never communicate with your children. That's just not something that you're supposed to do. So that leaves the last option, kill. But not the children. You want to kill the flowers, right? You want to immediately crush up the flowers, and the sight of that is going to completely traumatize your children, But you are not traumatizing your children. It's the action that's traumatizing the children, and therefore you get away scot-free. So keep that in mind. These are very, very simple things that you need to think about when you go through your day-to-day life, okay? Now, if I look, we have a few more questions, but we are running out of time, and I have yet to really figure out whether you are planning to be a recurring client. So I think with the information that I've given you so far has probably been, sufficient. If you come back, make sure to call me. And if you feel like you come back of your own accord. Don't show weakness and come here because of your family. And remember, your children may have picked this for you, but they didn't know that I don't manage your narcissism. In that I want you to have a higher narcissism, not a lower narcissism. Okay. Well. With that, that'll be all from me. You are welcome to go, but if you would like, we have some tea, we have some coffee that you're able to get outside. There's a lovely cafe that you can go to as well and listen to all the gossip in there. Okay? All right then. Well, I hope you have a good one.